move some lines and whatever while they were dropping tree limbs. They did it in one day, and you need to go look, because, you know, most time you grind the stumps, you got a pile of shredded material there. That is, you can plant grass there right now at this level with the street. The only thing is, they did drop one limb and get the street there in front of Mr. Baker's house, so. But we said we would do the repair the street, but that's very minimal.
What will be the ongoing process with that? Will we plant grass, or try to maintain, or try to move the street
Let
back
it
in,
go.
or
I don't know.
is there any?
Hopefully one of those.
We've never maintained that. I mean, the property owners there have pretty well maintained it. I mean, but it, you know, would be a push mower versus our
Sure.
push hog.
It's not a very big area, but it's just gonna be.
We, I wasn't aware that Ace Asphalt was in town after they'd done that work, and we weren't aware that they'd done the work, and just hadn't been over there to check it. So we weren't able to patch the street with hot mix, but hopefully tomorrow or Thursday, kind of depending on what all goes on tonight, you know, we're gonna go get some more coal mix, so, you know, it'll take a lot over there to do that. Fix that. There's, one lane's got 3 or 4 holes about that big, and then that whole section that was broken off over there, chipped off over there by Mr. Baker's, so.
I think just given the size of the tree and the potential for street damage, the damage was very minimal. And again, we committed to take care of this damage. I think he did a very respectable job in controlling that.
Hopefully this week, if not the first of next week, we'll get that.
Now that those trees are gone, is that area something you would consider paving?
We could put it on the list and consider it, but, see, Pool Street, that part of Pool Street was overlaid last year. So normally, we wouldn't be thinking about going back in there for that.
So just throw it out. It's nice, so they don't have to mow it. Do that. Okay.
Well, let me add, along that line on Franklin Street, do those residents there maintain that
Yes.
boulevard?
Yes,
So
trim the
probably-
trees.
Probably, you know, we'll leave that up to Jim Becker to get it done. We got rid of the trees.
Yeah.
Same way on High School Boulevard.
We got them around town.
About 10 minutes worth of work there, if you
Yeah.
know, you already got to, already mowing.
He just, I think he told me he had a mowing contract, and I think he just add that to his contract. I'll remind him of it.
Comment on
Yeah, we are meeting and still working on the handbook.
the handbook, just for application is still being worked on. Cleaning out our ditches, that project's also being worked on,
Well, I do have a bid.
but we do have a bid, that's the project.
Yes. David Ross turned in a bid for mowing both sides of ditches inside city limits. Said there could be some area where no access could be obtained from either side. The bid includes 1 extra man for pedestrian and vehicle protection, along with some city employees. And he bid at $26,900.
That's the only bid we have, right?
And do we give, what kind of definition do we discuss it with you as far as what kind of manpower, additional men he's gotta have, or, street, well, I mean, does it require a police department, or?
We didn't discuss it to that length, no. I mean, I've had several discussions over the years with David about this and that type of thing, but exactly what he's requesting in that, I'm not sure. As far as city
Jeff
employees.
Clark had suggested that he be paid a little bit more and he provide the employee to help keep the spectators away. And, but then he's added on there with some city employees, so I'm not sure what he's got in mind. But I think you said that there was a meeting to be scheduled in December.
We had that meeting with the drainage district, and we all agreed we'd get back together in December on that.
I think, for now, we ought to try to get a more definitive answer from him on what he means by city employees and, you know, what they're gonna do. If they're just gonna be standing there with a flag, you know, controlling traffic or whatever, that's one thing, but, if they got additional involvement, then we need to know that.
Okay. We'll get in touch with him.
Do we have any other prospects for bids? That's the only one we've
He,
on.
he is the one that had cleaned it out a couple of years ago, and he was the only one that we knew. Was he not the one? Okay, I thought he was. But he was the only one that we knew that had the equipment to do it.
So,
There are other people in the area that have too.
Yes, we might have to put it out for bid after the meeting with the drainage ditch.
Mayor, before we get totally away from the trees, are there other areas that we need to be kind of watching? I mean, that kind of snuck up on me, of course, I'm never over there. But there's lots of big trees in town. Are there others that we need to be kind of keeping an eye on, you think? Or?
You know, that snuck up on me too. We took some trees out there over the winter when we had the tree trimming crew, you know, and I went over there, you know, with the people that did that, you know, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't examine every tree, you know, and that kind of stuff. Yes, I mean, we've got trees that are tearing up our streets, that are raising the streets up in several places, you know, but,
There just might be times when there are crews here that we could take advantage of that and maybe get a better price, or like you're talking about with the asphalt, if the asphalt people are here. I mean, I don't know of anything else, but I'm just curious. If there's other areas maybe we need to put on a list or just be aware of, so we
we'll start coming up with a list for you on that type of stuff where the trees are actually damaging the streets. Next year. Next year.
Clean up crew,
We can do that next year.
do that in spare time for
John's this year's clean up crew.
Yes, sometime in January.
All right, on this, we discussed in your packet, there's a letter to you on, we kind of discussed it. The street committee brought it up and discussed about using the part-time mow crew throughout the winter months to do. We did what we just figured every day, a good day. There are some holidays in there. We know we're gonna have snow days, too cold days. So we just took it to the max. And broke it down, 10.50 an hour, 29 hours a week. And I discussed this with Street Superintendent Randy Carter, and had a conversation with Councilman Shaver, who had submitted something, and we talked about it. There's a few things that he didn't consider in there, so he had to go ahead and refigure it. And I sent it to him. This is what he agreed it looked good. Sent a note to the city clerk. We figured in the Social Security, and we did it estimated on the fuel, which would be vehicle fuel, two-cycle, bar oil, and things like that. And then, being it's gonna be the cold winter months, you know, and they've worked through the summer and all that, I'm just looking at, I looked at it, the local store, probably won't, got that wrong. That should be, that 200 should be 600, but it'll figure into that 19, where it won't even be that much. It's not something like those Carhartt type jackets and stuff for them. And then maintenance of equipment, probably just, you know, they're not going to do a whole lot of mowing. It's mainly your pole saw, replacing the chains on the pole saw chainsaw, and buying some called limb loppers where they can trim them down. So what we figured at is $19,034, and that would be them working shortly hereafter up through probably the end of March. And then I had figured in the other budget that probably about 1st of April we need to start doing a little mowing again. So this should be on a higher side, but I didn't want to come up short. It's the estimate, given, looking at hours and time and equipment and expenses. And so Randy and I discussed it, you know, it was $80,000 cleaning up the alleys last time. We don't do nothing this year, we don't do nothing next year, we're gonna be $80,000 again cleaning up alleys, so. And, you know, here Randy's went to a work order, system, and so I would say, you know, if Randy and his crew see somewhere needs to be done, they do a work order, and that way we're documenting what we're doing.
What I'd recommend to John is, we do just like we did the trimming crew, we just start them in a corner of town, and they run all the east and west streets to, you know, say north of First Street or whatever, all the way through town. And then they turn around and they go do the north and south, and then they do the south and that type of thing. You know, just running the streets that way. And we found that with the trimmers, the way they were doing it, you know, we had to double back and had to double back and had to double back, you know, because they'd go a ways and then they'd take off on another street instead of following a pattern through. And a tremendous amount of this is just gonna be with the, like old hand hedge trimmers, you know, cutting things that size or whatever, where they've grown out this year. We've got the pole saw that passed down to them, and if it works better, the old fire department panel van, we've rigged up for chainsaws and a pole saw, and we can pass that down to them, and pass it back to them, and that type of thing.
So that's the proposal and the figures on what we discussed.
You know, I agree with doing it, you know, and then take that amount from that cleanup, $125,000 we had budgeted for cleanup. It'll diminish the Mayday's cleanup amount, but,
This can be taken from transportation tax.
That's where Councilman Shaver did something about it.
It could, if it's whatever was being used to clean alleys.
that's fine too.
It's your all's choice, we just need to know.
I make a motion, we continue this project and take the money from transportation tax income.
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Discussion.
Oh, you want discussion?
Yes.
You haven't brought up anything before.
Could we look at splitting that half and half, transportation tax and city cleanup? It is definitely both projects.
Yeah, because it
Going on
make-
and some projects we like to do, try not to dip into that too much.
It's definitely got its, you know, it involves both areas, there's no doubt about that.
Would there be any part of that that doesn't involve the streets and or alleys?
Of course, streets. Clean up streets.
Whatever portion you do on streets and alleys will qualify, so it's up to the council. They want to
What
split
I'm
it.
saying, would there be any part that would not involve streets or alleys?
If they helped at all on the ditches, if they did anything with the parks and all that type of stuff, yeah. I mean, could be, I don't know. I was just thinking, the reason I brought up the split was, we're already squeezed extremely hard on the transportation money on the projects that we're trying to plan.
That's fine with me.
So, I mean,
Just
just a thought.
So we're trying hard to make sure that every penny that we can spend on the transportation department for the city, we're trying to spend it to, we want the citizens to see the results of their tax, and we're pushing pretty hard on that.
That's fine, I'll amend my motion and say half and half.
Motion's been amended, second.
Between transportation sales tax and city cleanup money.
Yes.
Got a motion and a second, any more further discussion?
Thank you.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Opposed, motion carries.
And I gotta say to Randy and Chief, whatever, that, there's been a ton of favorable comments about that work.
The mowing crew's all John, you know.
Well, we're gonna work together on this, because, you know, you can see them, I don't want to see our money go to waste, and these people, I know two of the three are itching to go continue on, so.
Good.
we'll get with him tomorrow.
Okay. Thermal imaging plan.
Okay. I guess I should stop. We tried last year in getting a grant through the Assistant Firefighter Grant. What happened, we got one of these bought through a grant years ago, and about 10 years ago, and then another one we bought through normal budgeting. At that time, they were really high. And I'm doggone if one didn't go out, 3 months later, the other one went out. And it's really difficult because with the new technology, when you get a smoke-filled building, it's difficult to find the seat of the fire to be able to quickly put water on it. And what the thermal imaging camera does, it takes different heat temperatures. If there's a body laying there, you'll see the outline of the body in that smoke. And they've used it once or twice to find somebody, but the main thing of it is, you get a fire, like I was telling Councilman Freeman before the meeting, we had a fire one time, whole attic's filled with smoke, so we go to the back of the house where the vent is, pull it, and we put the camera up there, and lo and behold, if we'd have fought the fire from that end, the fire was up in the far corner, so we was able to go into the room, pull the ceiling, put the fire out and cause less damage to the house. So they're a big plus on helping to stop rekindles too. When you get a fire, you can find out where the fire is in the hidden walls. And so we took bids, we've been to the different trade shows. All three of these, the Drager, the Fleur, and the Scott system are all quality systems. They all pretty well use the same technology. The Scott system is what we had. I was a little disappointed in that it went out like they did, and they don't repair them because of the technology change. So I'm asking under our capital improvement new fire equipment that we go with the Hoffcomp of Wappapella, Missouri with the Fleur system, and that's $13,850.
That money's already been accounted for, it's already been.
Yes, in the budget.
I'll make that motion.
Is it in the budget?
It is.
It should be under new fire equipment, under capital improvements.
I don't have that.
You don't have capital improvements, no.
Have a motion, do we have a
Is
second?
that a good number though, Diane? As far as you know?
As far as I know.
Well, if you did put it in the budget, then that's what intended to take it. We can probably just make sure it comes out of capital improvement money.
We'll also check Moon to see if they might be willing to do a reimbursement on that.
Yeah, I can find out if they will. It may be something that they'll put a portion to. They don't have a lot of fire stuff in there. And I've asked them why, and they said they just don't have many claims with fire departments. It would seem to me they would, what you're dealing with,
Maybe we leave the way. Have a motion, do we have a second? Have a second. All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
but
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, the new business, ordinance setting the following dates for the April election.
And this will be naturally the one with the longest title for any ordinance of the year, as long as we have to read it. Okay, first reading. An ordinance calling for the regular city election of the city of Kennett, Missouri for the purpose of having qualified voters of said city elected council member from Ward 1 for a term of 1 year, a council member from Ward 1 for a term of 2 years, a council member from Ward 2 for a term of 1 year, a council member from Ward 2 for a term of 2 years, a council member from Ward 3, a council member from Ward 4, and a council member from Ward 5 designated at the time of holding said election, prescribing the information for the ballot to be used thereat, and authorizing the city clerk to give such prescribed information and notice of said election to the county clerk of Duncan County. Motion.
Second. Motion second. All in favor?
We have a discussion about that, about the, we were, Mr. Freeman and I were a little bit caught off guard with this because it had been my impression that you served the term of the person you replaced.
No,
Has it always been?
state statute.
Well, I understand
Yeah,
that.
it has been as long as I've been city clerk.
We have done it that way, just didn't realize it.
Yes.
You think they would live and learn, I was under the same impression that you were. I thought it filled out the term, but that's why we have two.
Yeah, it just, until the next general election. And it's, section 77-450. Second reading, an ordinance calling for the regular city election of the city of Kennett, Missouri, for the purpose of having the qualified voters of said city elect a council member from Ward 1 for a term of 1 year, a council member from Ward 1 for a term of 2 years, a council member from Ward 2 for a term of 1 year, a council member from Ward 2 for a term of 2 years, a council member from Ward 3, a council member from Ward 4, a council member from Ward 5 designated the time of holding said election, prescribing the information for the ballot to be used thereat, and authorizing the city clerk to give such prescribed information and notice of said election to the county clerk of Dublin County.
Motion.
Motion? Have a motion?
Yes.
Second? Second. Bill?
Aye. Yes.
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 Carried, passes. Next up, we have in the packet a rezoning request. And recommendation from the code enforcement officer.
This thing that goes in an R into a B2, there's two sites. And it was passed by the planning commission.
What we'll need to do is have a public hearing at the next council meeting.
On the agenda for next meeting.
I advertised for that, don't I?
Yes.
Okay, what I need from the council is guidance on doing what we already have as an ordinance and on the books as far as merchants obtaining a city merchant license. There is no fee involved, but if it's the type of a business where you pay sales tax, you have to be able to provide to the city that you can get off of the computer that says there's no sales tax due. So without that, we cannot issue a city license. And we have several businesses in town that are operating without a city license.
They've never gotten a license.
No.
Didn't get one in June.
No. And a couple of them, the reason they haven't done it is because they cannot produce that they don't owe any sales tax. If they don't pay their sales tax, the city doesn't get any money. And, you know, you hate to close a business, but yet, is it fair to other businesses that pay their taxes and come in and get the merchant license like they're supposed to?
What types of businesses are you referring
Say the name.
to? Not necessarily.
Categories, what category?
I was just asking the category.
Retail.
How do we check up on businesses now that have, either somebody goes by and checks them, or they, we just wait on them on an honor system, come to us?
Well, we have a list, and then I call them and try to get them to come in and take care of it. And we had talked about, right now, you may have seen them in businesses, they're yellow. And we've talked about maybe each year changing it to a different color. And when they go in to do the fire inspections, you know, they can just kind of glance. And if it's not a green color, then they know they don't have a current merchant license. But, I mean, that would be in the future, but right now I just have several that I just wanted to be sure the council was behind before we
Do you have a
proceeded.
number on how many businesses are behind?
Probably 20 plus.
Okay.
Are any of these businesses operated out of home? Or are they all established, facility, structure that they operating out of?
No, they're not really, I don't believe they would be out of the home. Some of it might be auto repair. Some of them actually have two businesses.
But they're not doing this because they don't have a way to prove that they've.
They haven't paid their
They haven't
sales
paid their sales tax,
tax.
so they
It's
can't
not
get a
about
certificate.
proof, it's not having done it.
Well, if you've done it, you can get the proof.
Mhm.
Okay?
So, they haven't,
So
they
they
haven't
haven't
paid.
Oh,
So, just need to know y'all are behind me
I support
before
it,
you
but
start
now we're
getting
gonna go
phone
by
calls.
We can, two things, do one, probably don't wanna go in with padlocks. But we can, bring them in city court for every day they're open.
We
Every
have
day's a
the,
violation.
we have the authority to go to the business and tell them that they have to close until they get the merchant license.
Yes, we can do that. And if they don't close, then we can take them to court. Bring side of the city court.
I sure don't want to close their business unless we have to, but at the same time, I think they need to be
warned that we can
warned.
give them so much
that-
time
that,
before then.
Well, they
Some of them have
have
been.
been warned,
Okay.
They all know they're
Numerous
supposed to have
times.
it.
yes.
Then,
They've had personal contact.
That's a different
Is there
story.
anything written that they've been warned? We haven't given documents saying that they've been notified. We had anything to fall back on in case they try to come back on the street or something?
I had my paper and the date that I called them.
But there's nothing like a letter sent to them saying, hey, or maybe like an officer going to serve them, look, you have so many days to get this called up.
We
don't.
haven't done that yet.
That'd
That's
be-
what
We've
I'm
served
asking
some.
for.
Would that be a probable step that we could take?
It's an additional step we can take.
I think, I'm kinda like Rick, I hate to close the business down, but at the same time,
Well,
it's not
merchant
fair to the other
license-
businesses that are operating.
They're
the
due
right
in
way.
May.
Yeah, I know.
So we're running quite a bit behind right now.
What's the do with Mr. McVeigh's signature?
I would be glad to
yeah.
send something out.
I'd like to see list of businesses, is that?
Yes,
I can have it for the next meeting.
Okay.
That's just me.
Yeah.
and in the meantime, I will send them a letter.
Okay.
Or a letter will go out
Right.
under my signature, tell them that they have to do it or they will be brought to court.
Seems like.
And it will be
Well, it's gotta be fair with everybody.
Potential fine for every day they're open.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
One of those situations you don't like to get into, you're trying to attract business, but if you're not complying with your sales tax, you're really not an asset.
But I do think that's a good idea with the color of different licenses.
Well, it's been yellow for years.
Yeah, and so when they do go in the past, they look at that merchant's license, but if we know the color, it's right out there, so that's something we'll make sure we work on.
You know what you need?
Yes, thank you.
To request your approval to appoint Noah Briddick to the Kennett Housing Authority Board. We have a motion, and this term will be for 4 years, and expire 8/1/19. Motion,
Second.
discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, I don't, did you wanna bring up anything on the wellness plan?